Traditional European wine regions are really important because they act as benchmarks for the world of wine. What does it taste like? Oh, it's a bit like this. It's a bit like that. What should such and such a region taste like? Ah, I know what that tastes like. And these sorts of mental tics or physical memories of what a wine region represents to us often forms the basis of what wines we like. If I ask somebody, well, do you drink wine? Yeah, I love Spanish wine, or I love Rioja, if you're going to get a bit more specific, or I love Bordeaux, but I don't like that style of Bordeaux. And that's kind of why they are so important. We know what you're going to get if wineries are all going to perform in the same way. And of course, the point about it is that they don't. And you get wonderful variants if you are willing to give it a bit of time. Of course, tasting really helps as well. So if you can build up taste profiles between lots of different wines from the same region, even wines from the same winery that are made in slightly different ways, you'll find out different methods and different techniques that really count. Rioja is a really interesting region, and it sells extremely well in Ireland, and there's a very good reason why I think Rioja is such good value, that it's aged for you. Now, what do you mean? Well, who doesn't age the wine for you? Well, in France, they might release some of their top wines en primeur, which means it's the futures market, and they might expect you to age them until you think they're ready to be drunk, and you get to choose, right? But in Spain, and especially in Rioja, in its most traditional region, you get a really good value product, ready for market, ready for consumption, because most of the time the wines are made to adhere to the aging categories. So 6 months in bottle, 6 months in oak, or a year in oak, and it's ready for drinking. And that is Crianza. Or the other one then, a year in barrel, minimum of a year in bottle, that's Reserva. It's got to be in its 3rd year of age, and that's to be drunk. So the way that they set themselves up is that they want Rioja to adhere to minimum standards and criterion that then means that the quality is going to be consistent, which is great. Stylistically, though, you can still play around with the method and the instructions quite a lot. And if you don't want to have an age statement on your label, then you don't have to either. And that's the case with this wine. This is made by a winery owned by a company called Vintai, and it's made in the Lopez de Haro winery in Rioja, and it's very, very good. And they have a whole range of traditional Gran Reserva, Reserva, Crianza wines, and they're lovely. They're really good, and they're really typical of that sort of slightly old school Rioja, where there's a good deal of oak, not too much, lots of lovely ripe fruit, and a little bit of restraint. The last vintage they made is kind of rocketed in the international wine reviews. It's going to be really good. This is delicious. It steps outside of the aging category, and it's based on farming principles that were used back in the 50s and 40s. They kind of unearthed old books and leafed through research and found that this way of farming was something that they really liked. So they set aside this block of vines or this set of vineyards, farm them organically in exactly the same way that they used to be farmed by their ancestors, and decided that this wine was going to be made on its own, and it's fantastic. El Pacto, the Pact, is a pact between winery, grape grower, and the land, allegedly. The result is absolutely delicious. It's whopper, really full-bodied, really smooth in the mouth. Alcohol is high, but because of the density of the fruit concentration, it doesn't overpower it. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. Really good with food, completely delicious on its own. And it's a really different version of what is really high quality Rioja. And I think you're going to love it.